Unit 2. Library Services. Contents. 1.0. Introduction. 2.0. Intended Learning Outcomes, ELOS. 3.0. Main Content. 3.1. General Library Services. 3.2. Specialized Library Services. 4.0. Conclusion. Connect with me via WhatsApp, +234 703 247 4726, to get more interesting videos. Please, to support our ministry, remember to like the video, and also find it in your heart to subscribe to our YouTube channel and then gently tap the bell to turn on the notification, so as not to miss out on the next videos. 1.0. Introduction. In this unit, you will learn about the various services of the library. These services are designed to ease academic work and research. The services provided to users depend on the objectives of the parent organization of the library. Although, services provided in libraries may differ, but there are certain services that are common to all libraries known as general library services. For example, lending services, reservation services, interlibrary loan service and document delivery, reference service, current awareness service and user education. There are also some specialized services that libraries provide for users such as literature search, selective dissemination of information, referral service, and translation service. All these services will be treated in this unit. 2.0. Intended Learning Outcomes, ELOS. By the end of this unit, you will be able to distinguish the types of library services. Choose a library based on the services. 3.0. Main Content. 3.1. General Library Services, Reference Services. According to Kadir, 2012, a reference service is the personal assistance given by the reference personnel, librarians, to library users in search of information for whatever purpose. Library users and potential users have different reference queries that need to be solved by the librarians. Reference processes involve interviewing the reader to enable the reference librarian to articulate the problem of the user clearly. The outcome of the interview will determine what source in the library or outside the library, other libraries, to use in order to provide answers to the queries. There are different types of queries. They include the following. Directional. This type involves reader questing for a specific location within the library. Most readers, especially first-time users, find the services very useful. Ready, quick reference question. This is when a reader asks a specific question relating to the use of library materials in the reference sections. For example, what is the population of Ghana? Who was the president of Ghana in year 2000? These are everyday questions that readers regularly ask reference librarians. These questions are easily answered by consulting a specific reference source, such as almanacs, biographies, yearbooks, dictionaries, etc. To answering these types of queries, most libraries have created a special desk called the information desk. Search questions. Readers often need background information or general information on a theme. Such questions cannot be met by one single reference source in the library. One might need the use of a variety of sources to answer the reference question. For example, what is the difference between conventional education and open and distance education? The reference librarian may need to consult dictionaries, encyclopedias, handbooks, indexes, abstracts, etc. to answer such questions. Research questions. This is a more serious type of reference service. Here, the user is faced with a research topic that requires comprehensive reference sources in order to provide literature review. For example, to answer a question on the role of the library in national development, the user will need to consult a wide variety of sources that will assist him, her in compiling a comprehensive listing of pertinent documents relevant to the topic. In addition, the library may refer the user to experts in the field. Vertical files. In general, reference librarians maintain specific source that will meet the local inquiries, such as an airline, railway, bus timetables, public holidays, local cinema shows, and directions within a city. Sources for answering such question are kept by the reference librarians and they are referred to as vertical files. They are usually sources of miscellaneous information. It is important therefore, for reference librarians to keep such sources as maps, brochures, telephones, guides, etc. of towns or cities in which the libraries are located. Statistics. All records of users' queries must be well kept by the reference librarian. This is to enable the library to know the nature of users' queries and get adequately prepared to answer them in future. Current Awareness Services, CAS. Current Awareness Service is defined by Ashikuzzaman, 2013, as the establishment of a system for reviewing publications immediately at receipt. Selecting information pertinent to the program of the organization served, and recording individual items to be brought to the attention of those persons to whose work are related. The purpose of Current Awareness Service is to keep users abreast with up-to-date information in their specialized field of interest. The reference librarians achieve this by collating all latest documents and by using users' profile, send them through telephone calls, email, scan, etc. to users. Materials such as preprints of papers, photocopy of table of contents, periodicals routings, library bulletins, can be sent to users. Libraries recently published accession lists, or acquisition list containing bibliographic details of new materials just acquired can also be sent to users. Current Awareness Service is not a personalized service, thus, information provided to users is in broad subject categories without necessary targeting a user. Information can be provided on journals, books, conference proceedings, theses and dissertations, newspapers, and magazines. Inter-library loan service. Resource sharing and collaboration is one of the new trends in librarianship. A library may not be able to meet the information needs of all its users due to limited resources. Any user in need of any material that is not available in his library informs the reference librarian, who in turn loans such a material from any collaborating library for the user. Libraries go into partnership and collaboration to enable them share resources. Such resources must be returned by the reference librarian on or before the date due. Lending services. The librarian at the circulation section of the library is responsible for charging and discharging of library resources. He will provide information in this regard to the users. For example, only registered library users can borrow books and other library resources. Also, potential library users are required to register before being permitted to use the library. Registration of clientele may be manual or computer-based. To borrow a book, borrower's ticket form will be filled by the user. This operation could also be computerized. However, before you are allowed to go home with the book, it must be stamped with date due stamp. There is a slip, date due slip, that all books available for loan carry in the library. This slip is pasted at the loose leaf at the back of every book, on circulation, in the library. A date due slip usually contains the author's name, title of the book, date due, accessioning number, and call mark. Date due slip. The length of time a book can be borrowed depends on the library's policy. The library's policy also determines the number of books a user can borrow at a time. The number of books and the duration of time a book can be borrowed differ with students and staff. The policy most times gives more time and books to staff. To know what book to borrow, the user may check the various catalogs, which could be manual or electronic. For example, Open Access Catalogs, OPAC, is an electronic catalog. He can search by subject, title or author, etc. The class mark indicates the location of the book on the shelf. Once the book is retrieved from the shelf, the user can now go straight to the circulation desk with it for charging. The reader could return the borrowed book before the date due. If he has finished using it, but if he has not finished using it before the expiration of the date due, he could go back to the library with the book to renew, if such book is not on reserve. If the user keeps the book after expiration date, at return, he must pay the fine of 100 nairas, depending on the library, per day. This fine is to discourage users from holding tight to libraries' materials for long and for them to have consideration for other library users who may also need such a book. The first daily task of the circulation department is the shelving of all books consulted by library users the previous day. The library users usually advised to leave consulted books on the reading tables and in the carrels. The circulation staff is expected to gather these books first thing in the morning, while statistics is taken of the books consulted by users. These books are then arranged on the book truck in a classified order and wheeled to the shelves, where they will be appropriately shelved, subject by subject. These shelves are usually labeled at the outer sides front and by the sides according to subjects. Reservation service. Reservation service is very important in academic and school libraries because there are some materials that are heavily used and stand the risk of being stolen or mutilated if such materials are kept on open shelves. Reserved materials cannot be lent out. They are kept in a restricted area where they could be loaned out for a limited period. Personal books from lecturers can be kept for their students in the reserve collection room. User education. User education equips users with adequate knowledge on the use of the library. It enables users to effectively and efficiently use the library resources. This can be in form of library orientation or classroom instruction. Library orientation involves taking a group of users on a guided tour of the library. At the end of the tour, there is usually a special session with the group to discuss the various activities of the library and how readers could benefit from the services of the library. In the case of classroom instruction, user education is a credit-earning course. Library activities are integrated with the curriculum of students who are expected to earn credit for the course. The library staff in conjunction with academic staff often provides a series of topics for instruction. The objective of the course is to teach students the skills that will enable them explore the resources of the library and, more importantly, to assist the students in the research methodology course, which is often compulsory in most undergraduate programs. 3.2. Specialized library services. 3.2.1. Selective dissemination of information, SDI. This type of service is particularly common in special libraries. The main objective of SDI is to provide users, especially in special libraries, with information that will promote their research and other day-to-day activities. With SDI, the user is relieved of the problem of sieving through many documents before getting the relevant documents. Thus, the user's time is saved for other purpose. SDI is a customized service which is very common in academic and special libraries. SDI service is a personalized service which is unlike the current awareness service that is a group service. For SDI, the library staff, on a regular basis, searches through a mass of literature from which those that are of interest to a user are selected and are made available to him or her. The librarian must collect the research profile of users. This is achieved through giving users a well-designed form to fill, and a one-on-one interview by the librarian with users. This way, the user's area of interest is determined with precision. The librarian, who keeps complete details of his document, matches the keywords in the document's profile with keywords in user's profile. If the system is computerized, users and documents' profiles are matched to sift out relevant documents for a user, and this is sent to him or her through email, fax, post or courier. 3.2.2. Referral service. The library in this case can direct a user to another library to an alternative source of information if such information is not available in its own library. With a referral letter, the user can be directed, for example, to professional organizations, research institutes, individual specialists and other libraries that can meet the information needs of a reader. The reference librarian maintains a list of referral institutions and experts that is regularly updated. 3.2.3 Translation service. Some libraries offer translation service. This is done when users request for a translation of information materials needed from English to indigenous languages that users can comprehend. The library therefore must maintain a list of professional translators that can be easily contacted to render such service. This service is particularly needed in scientific libraries with periodicals in foreign languages. There are some organizations that also perform translation service, for example, European Translation Center in Delft, the Netherlands. Translation could also be done in-house. 3.2.4 Literature Search Service. Special libraries normally provide this specialized service to their users. In most other libraries, users usually do their own literature search. It is easy to provide literature search for users of special libraries because they are usually small in number, and their research and information needs are homogeneous. Literature search is a systematic search for knowledge and information, contained in resources of the library, on a topic or theme. The library catalog is the main source for searching for relevant documents, either by author, title or subject entries. A comprehensive bibliographic detail of these relevant documents is compiled. 4.0 Conclusion. Library services are common to all libraries and there are specialized library services. The type of information required determines the type of library services that will be required by the user or provided by the library. You will learn about research technique in the next module. This will give you opportunity to learn more about the services of library.